Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Text 18, in the matter of fundamental principles of material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. By exhibiting his potencies, the Supreme Personality of Godhead adjusts all these different elements, keeping himself within as the Supersoul and without as time. Purport. Here it is stated that within the heart, the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides as the Supersoul. This situation is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. The Supersoul rests beside the individual soul and acts as a witness. This is also confirmed elsewhere in the Vedic literature. Two birds are sitting on the same tree of a body. One is witnessing and the other is eating the fruits of a tree. The Purusha or Paramatma, who resides within the body of the individual soul, is described in Bhagavad Gita 13:23 as the Upadrashta, witness, and the Anumanta, sanctioning authority. The conditioned soul engages in the happiness and distress of a particular body given him by the arrangement of the external energy of the Supreme Lord. But the Supreme Living Being, or the Paramatma, is different from the conditioned soul. He is described in Bhagavad Gita as Maheshwar, or the Supreme Lord. He is Paramatma, not Jivatma. Paramatma means the super soul, who is sitting by the side of a conditioned soul, just to sanction his activities. Conditioned soul comes to this material world in order to lord it over material nature. Since one cannot do anything without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, he lives with the jiva, soul, as witness and sanction giver. He is also bhokta. He gives maintenance and substance to the conditioned soul. Since the living entity is constitutionally part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is very affectionate to the living entities. Unfortunately, when the living entity is bewildered or illusioned by the external energy, he becomes forgetful of his eternal relationship with the Lord. But as soon as he becomes aware of his constitutional position, he is liberated. The minute independence of a conditioned soul is exhibited by his marginal position. If he likes, he can forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead and come into material existence with a false ego to lord it over material nature. But if he likes, he can turn his face to the service of the Lord. The individual living entity is given that independence. His conditional life is ended and his life becomes successful as soon as he turns his face to the Lord. But by misusing his independence, he enters into material existence. Yet the Lord is so kind that as super soul he always remains with the conditioned soul. The concern of the Lord is neither to enjoy nor to suffer from the material body. He remains with the jiva simply as sanction giver and witness, so that the living entity can receive the results of his activities, good or bad. Outside the body of a conditioned soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains as a time factor. According to Sankhya system of philosophy, there are 25 elements. The 24 elements also described, the 24 elements already described, plus the time factor, make 25. According to some learned philosophers, the supersoul is included to make a total of 26 elements.